This is a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it.
Lionel returns and he doesn't give a shit if his son dies. This and more on today's episode of Smallville Freaks.
Whatever it is, I can handle it.
You're the one always telling me I need to find my destiny. But one thing's for certain, it's not here in Kansas. You saved my life.
He's a rather extraordinary young man. Don't you think?
Hello and welcome to Smallville Freaks, a podcast 15 years too late. I am Mike Pelly.
And I'm Jason Lamb.
And we are here to talk about Season 1, Episode 8.
Jitters.
Yeah, there's a guy that shakes a lot. Let's get into it, man. I am really excited. I actually really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun with it.
It was really entertaining, and I think there's a part towards the end that actually got my heart pumping, even though I've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's like I know what's going to happen. I know everybody's going to live, but I was still like really compelled.
Yeah, it had had stakes this episode, and this is the first time where I feel like it's the first time where we're actually getting an episode without a freak of the week. I understand that this guy Earl, who's I guess whatever, an old friend of the Kents, has this condition. There was a meteor lab explosion. I get it. Kryptonite went into his skin, and he is technically a meteor freak. However, he's not like the other ones, though. I think he stands out a little bit because I felt bad for him this entire episode, and I thought that the things he did, like, granted, he got so pissed off that nobody listened to him. To get him to level 3 at LexCorp, which I
just want to get to level 3.
Yeah, he just the poor guy.
Why is it so hard?
He just wants to get himself fixed and go to level 3. That he has to hold an entire class that's touring LexCorp hostage to do it. And granted, like we've seen in the past, meteor freaks are affected by kryptonite. It really kind of embraces their dark side. But I don't know. I felt for the guy the whole time. I didn't feel like he was a freak. He had an infection that made him jitter.
Oh, poor buddy.
Which I was thinking about, and I was just like, oh God, that would fucking suck.
Yeah.
First thing I wanted to bring up was the beginning of this episode. The Kent family is so happy-go-lucky. It makes me cringe. It starts out, Clark is just all smiles, eating leftover pizza.
Yeah, he gives them a note for their anniversary, like a card, and I'm just like, who? Yeah, for your parents' anniversary?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so it's a card that's to say, I love you, Mom and Dad. Congratulations.
Didn't it also open with Smash Mouth? Because I think
it opened with something shitty.
That's really what sets the whole mood for this show.
Absolutely. And that's what sets the whole mood for this fucking season.
Yeah.
But the thing about that he's like, Clark is just like, yeah, it'd be so great. And he was planning a party the whole time. Like a big fucking can't hardly wait style party
right.
at the Kent farm.
Which is why he's so over the top about it, being nice to them. Oh, sure,
la,
Dad.
I'll
lift up the car for you. Everything's great.
Yeah, and Martha and Jonathan are just like, oh, our son is so responsible. I loved it.
Yeah, rebellious Clark.
Very rebellious. So yeah, there is a party that's thrown there while his parents are out of town. But this guy, Earl... Should we start talking about Earl?
Our jittery friend Earl.
He's a jitterbud. The poor fucking this guy. I feel so bad for this guy. So he shows up to see his daughter or son. I think it was a girl, that little infant, in her crib. And I was like, at first I didn't realize. I mean, I've seen the episode before, so I know that he shakes a lot. I thought when he grabbed the baby to hold it, he was gonna kill it. I was like, this is starting out dark.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna like shake the baby to death.
Yeah, but he puts the baby down and then he shakes. So, but like he just wants to be normal again. And from the way that Jonathan, because he's an old friend of the Kents, and Clark described him, he sounded like such a like warm, loving, awesome guitar teaching.
He was an uncle to Clark.
Yeah, he like had that.
Was he? So is he farmhand? I can't remember now.
Yeah, exactly. He was, because that's why when he was working at LexCorp, he was working with the crops sector or whatever it was that were spraying the crops with kryptonite, which is how he got infected. I don't know. I felt bad for him. I felt bad for the janitor that he killed.
I know. It was like a buddy of his too.
Yeah.
And he just like gave him a hug and just shook him to death.
So sad.
I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna grab you.
And this janitor friend of his was like, "Oh my God, Earl, we gotta get you to the hospital, man."
I know. He cared about Earl.
He cared about Earl, and he had like this shitty '90s or early 2000s Smash Mouth haircut, and he was probably listening to Smash Mouth too. It was something bad. It was something like that. But anyway,
so yeah, Clark has this barn. Not even a barn party. He just has a house party. It goes like off the rails.
Which I thought was crazy, because it was like, okay, is Clark really that fucking popular? But later in the episode, when his parents catch him, they're like, we were calling, and like 6 different people answer the phone, and none of them knew who you were.
Yeah. We also find out that it was like Lex again who basically fucked up his life. Like Clark could have had like a cool, like decent party where he wouldn't have gotten in trouble. But then Lex, thinking he's going to help, he comes in and fucks everything up, which he like often does when he tries to help Clark.
I thought I disagree with you, sir. He elevated that party.
Well,
he brought
his
fucking
idea,
like expensive ass fucking fireworks to that thing, and like, man, he's like, don't worry, I took care of the neighbors. Like, he's just like, I made sure the cops don't respond to any fucking noise complaints.
Right, but it's not he's not afraid of his cops. He's afraid of disappointing his parents. And so, like, he ends up doing that because of Lex, which we've seen in previous episodes, and it's only like episode 9.
I don't know. I wrote on my notes, I was like, Lex at the party is so laugh out loud. Like, no, he's just great. Like showing up to this fucking high school house party that's like, you know, like breaking the rules, and he's just like, hey, I'm a billionaire. I just made your party cooler.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck are you doing meddling with these people's lives?
I know how parties like these can make or break your popularity.
Yeah, so the party happens, he gets caught, whatever.
He finds Earl hanging out in his barn, which has happened to me before.
Wait, what? You found Earl in your barn?
No, I found like an old friend who had been sleeping in the barn behind my house for a while.
Yeah, that was confusing just because it was like...
it just reminded me
He's just like,
that.
I need to talk to your dad, but I also need to like get in this corner and put a blanket over my... I mean, I guess he did probably show up and there was a big giant raging party. And I loved seeing Whitney with like a pitchfork.
Oh, I know.
He was going to go poke him.
And he's like ordering Clark. He's like, Clark, get up here. Like, as soon as he shows up.
So the main thing I want to talk about in this episode is Lionel's return. Okay, we have we have not seen this guy since the pilot. He is my favorite Smallville character, being that, you know, that I've seen this show before.
Right.
So clearly, I mean, like, this is where he comes into the show full force, because he's not going to leave. And he's going to be there for a good solid amount of time.
Yeah.
So he's back, and he's cold fucking hearted. They wrote him, like, the writers wrote him in this episode to literally not give a fuck.
No, and he ends up protecting his secrets more than caring about his son.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which I think is pretty cool. I also agree. My favorite character in the entire show. He's unfortunately not throughout the entire show, which he should be in every episode.
Spoiler alert.
But he, the man is a genius, and I think John Glover was made for this role. He's like hilarious, and he's sinister, and just like,
and his hair. Yeah, his hair only gets.
It's so perfect.
If you think it's greasy enough in this episode, it's going to get greasier and tamer and thicker.
Yeah.
And it goes you just watch the evolution of this guy's hair in the show, and it's amazing.
him and Roadhouse, like Patrick Swayze, definitely got together and went bowling and traded style tips.
The episode is pretty much is Earl like wants to get in level 3. He finally does get in level 3. And I want to talk about some of that in the Geek Lore segment. But the last thing I want to say before we go to the drama is there's a tour guide and he keeps making poop jokes.
Oh, no. The tour guide, though, is also Chloe's dad, who it's the first time we've ever seen that character. And she's super embarrassed because it's her dad making all these stupid poop jokes.
Did she say that in the episode?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
right. Yeah. So
Mr.
we see
Sullivan.
more. Mr. Sullivan. Yeah. Okay. All right. So he keeps making poop jokes. I wrote some of them down. He said something about like, oh, if any of you ate beans today,
we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
You're in for an explosion. Because they're all talking about a
it's a fertilizer plant.
Yeah.
The Luthor Corp fertilizer plant.
It's just I thought it was so funny. I was like, this guy just thinks he's so funny talking about poop. Drama segment.
Drama.
Trust me, you don't want to know me the way you think you do.
Clark, that's my decision to make.
So this is very small, not too many things here, but Clark keeps doing this. Lana will show up to something. In this case, showed up to his party. And the first thing he fucking says is, "So where's your boyfriend?"
Yeah, he's like always asking.
Why are you with your boyfriend? Like, are you guys fighting? Do you need me to comfort you? Like, is this? I don't know.
He's just waiting for her to say that they broke up.
Yeah, and that's real. I mean, like I've been there. Where I mean, like
boyfriend.
I'm crushing on somebody pretty hard, but like they're totally with somebody. And you just know they're not going to be with them forever, so you kind of keep like nudging your elbow a little bit.
Right.
But this is again, Clark is still on his clear streak of I'm going to get this gal. The last thing I have here is that Lana says something to Whitney when he shows up at the party. Remember, he's like I got to go talk to you in private.
Mm-hmm.
And they go into the Clark's barn. That's where they find Earl. Lana says, yeah, so since we got back together, to Whitney, like as if they broke up at some point, why can't I go out on my own? And that makes zero sense to me because I don't have any memory of them breaking up in the last 7 episodes.
No, maybe it's implied, or like maybe that got cut from a previous script or something, because I don't remember them ever breaking. I feel like we would have talked about that.
It didn't happen, and that's the thing. The reason I want to point it out is because this show will do shit like that. Like, there's under the breath things that they say that is like in context to some pretty significant event, and they'll just brush it off, and it's so confusing because now you think subconsciously that way more has happened in their relationship than you've seen. Yeah. But up until this point, I have seen her totally into him, and sure, he fucked up a couple dates and stuff, but she never cared.
I mean, I don't understand why. Like, why is she so into him? Because he sucks. He sucks like all the time. He fucks up more than Clark does.
Yes, he does.
And like they try to imply that he does more, but it's like no, like Whitney is a screw up.
Yeah, it was like and
he always like says something that like hurts her feelings or like is incredibly insensitive.
Okay, so that's enough of that's about it I have on the drama list. But let's get into the drinking game.
The party can officially begin. The Luthors are here.
So drinking game, Jason, what do you got?
Okay, so the drinking game, hospital scenes. This is the first episode where we get
finally
2 hospital scenes, and we'll see more.
Excited.
It's not like the hospital that has all the crazy like purple shit everywhere and like pastels
walls,
and like
but it's clearly not the same set.
So we've
they're
got
gonna move forward with, but
but we've got a Smallville hospital. So
finally,
that's 2 hospital scenes. Someone says son or father, I think 6 times, which is like a lot, right?
Yeah, I remember it was kind of scattered. It was pretty much everybody said it. Lionel said it. Lex said it. I don't think Jonathan said it.
Lex or Clark or somebody. And Lionel. Yeah,
Lionel. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Chloe cries.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Wait. That's a first too.
That's a first.
Yeah, there's a lot of debut drinking game rules on here.
Chloe cries one time, and that's when her father is getting threatened by Earl with a gun. So we have glass shattering.
Ooh.
I have a total of 6 times.
Jesus.
This is a lot. I mean, the guy jitters everything. The opening scene is him jittering through some glass.
Yep. To get to the janitor.
So that's a lot.
Jittering his way through all the windows.
Yeah. So I think that concludes it.
Yeah.
I think
It's not like it's not that many of the rules that we have listed that are hit on this episode. But there's an awful lot of glass that shatters. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think shots?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to say sipper. That's a lot of shots. I mean, just the drinking. Like
just
if you
alone
did
the glass.
Glass shattering.
Yeah.
And every single episode was enough to get you fucked up. Possibly do hard A.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, let's move on to Geek Lore.
This is Smallville. Meteor freaks, alien ships, cryptic symbols. Someone has to protect the world.
The only thing I have really for this one, because it doesn't get super deep into the lore and like mythology of Superman.
Well, it's heavy. This is a Metropolis heavy episode. So this is the first time where we're actually, is this even the first time we've seen Metropolis in the show?
I never thought about that.
So,
actually, yeah,
for a brief moment. So that's a lore. Like, I mean, it's just a fucking city, but like this is Metropolis.
Yeah, it's the city in Kansas, I guess, is where Metropolis is supposed to be.
That is a great question, and I know for a fact in the next episode we actually like Clark goes to Metropolis.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Or
but,
is it like the next state over or something?
Yeah,
like that,
so
is where
it
Metropolis is supposed to be.
Not clear if it's a fucking 30-minute drive or a 3-hour drive.
Right.
But we'll get into all that stuff when there's more Metropolis.
And then the other thing, it's very small, and it's not a good one to end it on, but Lex Luthor is looking hella purple in his crazy suit when he shows up to the plant to talk to Earl and like talk him down in like the hostage negotiation situation.
I had one thing to touch on that. The fact that we're even going into Luthor Corp for the first time. This is, Luthor Corp is heavily in the comic books.
Yeah.
And in this episode, it's clear that there's a Luthor Corp all over. They show one in Metropolis, and they also have one in Smallville, which is where Earl holds the kids hostage. Which is, it's like they do experiments on plants and stuff or whatever. There, what is it?
It's a fertilizer plant. It's where they process fertilizer.
Yeah. So I just think it's worth a mention because that is heavily in the comic books. Is Luthor Corp?
Yes.
Or is it called Lex Corp in the comic books?
I think it's Lex Corp in the comic books. But
Yeah.
I really don't remember at this point.
If it is Lex Corp, that's interesting because that means that this show is setting up the name to change at some point in the future.
Right, yeah.
Which, spoiler alert, again, we do see some of that. So I just thought I'd point it out now and get it out of the way because it was the first appearance of that, the interior of the buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
So, crew spotlight?
Crew spotlight.
I'm to help create the look of the show, to tell the story visually.
So this week's crew spotlight is
brought to you by Toys R Us.
It's a genre veteran named Tony Todd, and I hate to focus on the actors, but I feel like these are like the most front-facing.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
I'd love to go deeper into the actual crew, but no, Tony Todd's awesome. First time I saw him was in Clive Barker's Candyman.
Oh God, he is Candyman.
Yeah, he's terrifying in it, and he's also like in this crazy episode of the X-Files again, like another like Vancouver TV show, alumni, where he plays a Vietnam vet who gets experimented on and gets like parts of his brain removed so that he never sleeps. And starts to dream in like waking life and makes his dreams reality.
Is it like he has a reputation of doing horror films?
Yeah, he's typically I think in a lot of horror films. Lots of like B movies.
This
and stuff like
episode
that.
was kind of he kind of plays like a horror aspect.
Yeah, he's just creepy. Like I think it's like his eyes and everything.
Yeah.
They just Yeah.
So he's typecast then, is what you're saying.
He's typecast, but it doesn't seem like he minds in particular because he's probably done like 40 movies or something like that over the years. So yeah, Tony Todd was in Candyman and he was in The Rock. Most recently, he was in The Flash.
The TV show.
The TV series. Yeah. He was also in Young Justice, which is an excellent DC Comics animated show.
Love it.
Yeah, he's just been in a ton of stuff over the years. Look him up. He was even like Final Destination and just like other like shit that you would recognize.
Yeah, he definitely deserves a nod, a little tip of the hat, because he seems like a good dude.
Yeah, and he was great in this.
And he's a good actor. I really again, I felt for the character he portrayed in the episode.
I read that he's 6'5". He must be just incredibly intimidating.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that is the episode 8 of Smallville, Jitters. Jason, where can people find you on the internet?
Around. Yeah, I guess Twitter.
Jason, what is it?
It's Jason_Lamb.
Jason yeah. You can find me, Mike Pelly, on all the social media platforms. Thank you for joining us. Next episode is called Rogue, episode 9. Join us for that one. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/HardToFindMediaNetwork. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it. Fuck it.